What's going on, everyone? So yesterday, the New York Knicks got news that Mitchell Robinson is likely out till December or January, seems to be the targeted date. He ended up having ankle surgery, and he is expected to miss at least till December or January. Could be longer, maybe shorter, but more likely than not, it will be as long as possible. Based on the reports, the Knicks and Mitchell Robinson both don't want to rush to bring Mitchell Robinson back. This is a big blow, right? Because the Knicks don't have like a ton of centers, right? They have the guys in the backup position are all undersized, right? They have guys like Precious, Sims, right? Kike, like they have guys that can kind of step in, but they're all not what Mitchell Robinson is, which is just this big, strong, physical center that can block shots, that can rebound, run the floor, right? His per 36 stats are like 11 points, 12 rebounds, 2 blocks, 2 steals, right? Like the guy is a defensive monster when he's healthy, as well as just that high energy guy that would fit in just seamlessly with this Knicks team. Slot alongside Julius Randle and, Jalen Brunson and Mikal Bridges and OG just would round out such a nice five for the Knicks. But now they're going to have to figure out what they're going to do without Mitchell Robinson. And look, the Knicks were already active in trying to acquire centers, even with Mitchell Robinson. Now, in hindsight, that might have been why, right? In hindsight, it may have been like, hey, let's try to get some centers because we know Mitchell Robinson isn't going to be healthy and ready come the beginning of the season, right? Because it was kind of like, okay, well, they have Robinson. Yes, his injury history is a bit of a concern, right? This isn't a guy that's, perennial 70 games a season. This is a guy that is constantly injured, right? And that's something else that they have to look at. That's something else that they have to keep in mind, right? Like somebody like a Mikal Bridges, right? If he was to miss, 2 months of the season, his track record shows that that's an anomaly. His track record shows that you can count on him. You're good, right? You don't need to go and try to find somebody to give minutes while he's out. But somebody like Mitchell Robinson, who he's had one season in which he's played 70 or more games, and he's had multiple seasons where he's played 30, 31. So, this guy's playing, average 50 games a season. That's not great, right? That's not what you want to see from, what is supposed to be your starting center. So do they kind of have even more urgency? And does it become kind of more of a point of like, hey, we need to go get a trade. We need to pull something off and are a little more kind of desperate, right? Now, look, options vary, but when a Walker Kessler, right? Wendell Carter Jr. was the guy that I was about to say, but Walker Kessler is the guy that the Knicks actually made the 2 first offer for. Touch on Wendell Carter in a moment because I do want to touch on him. But Walker Kessler, we know that the Knicks offered 2 firsts for Kessler, and Utah turned it down and said no, right? But supposedly, according to reports, even from Utah's side of things, Utah doesn't really see Walker Kessler as a piece of the future. Danny Ainge is known to like, hey, if I don't believe you're part of what my vision is, you're gone. And he loves to stack and accumulate assets. So if he can turn Walker Kessler into multiple firsts, he'll do that. But are they kind of in this rush? Are they in this need? Another team that kind of comes to mind is like the Portland Trail Blazers, right? They have Clegan, they have Ayton, and they have a Time Lord, right? They have Robert Williams. So they need to move off of somebody. You're probably not going to get Ayton or Clegan, but can you get maybe a Time Lord, right? Can you get a Robert Williams? Now, you could argue Robert Williams is basically another Mitchell Robinson, which he is, right? Gives you the same kind of thing. Floor running big, high energy when he's healthy, is just a monster, can rebound, can defend, can block shots, can do a little bit of everything, but he can't stay healthy, right? So you're kind of subbing one Mitchell Robinson for another, although, like, if both are healthy and good to go, you could kind of just, like, split their minutes, right? So say, 48 minutes, you could play each of them, maybe 15 minutes each, maybe 17 minutes each, something like that, and then play like a Precious, like 10, 14 minutes, something like that. Like that is definitely an option that you would have. But Walker Kessler, I imagine that they would kind of touch base with again and potentially try to see like, hey, if things change, what do you want besides the 2 firsts? Is there any like wiggle room there? Is there any way that we can acquire him? There is guys like, you kind of go on like the second tier market, or would be look at the second tier market. Somebody like like a Nick Richards is somebody that comes to mind. Wendell Carter Jr., I like him a lot, but again, injury history is not great, and he's not a true 7 foot. Right, so that becomes a problem because he's not really this real legit 7 footer, but his versatility to be able to play the 5, to be able to play the 4 could go a long way for them. But yeah, like guys, like can you get a Nick Richards, who at least he's a true 7 foot. You could look at like Day'Ron Sharpe, although he again is like a 6'9", 6'10" guy. Do you really want to go undersized? Ideally, if you could get somebody like a Nick Claxton, he would be great. He would be solid. But the problem with Nick Claxton is like I just don't see the Nets trading him unless it's for some like huge package in return. But Nick Claxton would be great if they were able to kind of work something like that out. And he's a guy that plays 70 games last season, which would be really good if he can kind of continue to maintain that. But point is like, you kind of have this need, and you kind of have this need bad, right? And it's just like there's very limited options out there. And, look, I personally, I don't think it's this huge emergency. Like, I don't think you got to just, like, at all costs sell the farm to go get any of these guys, or you heavily overpay for guys. I just don't. I think you still remain patient. The Knicks do have enough talent. The Knicks are still very good. You could always go like the small ball route and put like, Josh Hart at the 2 because he is such a great rebounder at the guard position, and slide like Julius Randle to the 5 and just go like Randle, OG, Bridges, Hart, and Brunson. I don't hate that, right? Like, again, you're kind of small, like at least at the center spot, but you have several guys that rebound the ball very well, and perimeter defense, you'd be great. Like, you'd be able to defend the perimeter really well. It's just the interior, and Brunson being the defensive liability by not having a shot blocker, not having a true center, could cause some problems, right? Obviously, Brunson's going to be defending like the 4th best player on the other team, but still, it's like, it still could become a problem where you're switching on guys and all that. It's just, Tibbs is really going to have to find the right kind of defensive sets, the right defensive structures to really make that work, because it is a bit concerning, right? So ideally you would want to get a big man. You want to get a true 7 footer, somebody that can kind of protect the rim a little bit. Do you bring in like a 2-way guy, right? Do you kind of try to see if maybe you can, clear somebody off and maybe bring one of these centers out on the market and just hope one of them works out, like bring in a true 7 footer? That's always an option. Lastly, kind of do you go like the Clint Capella route, right? Now look, Clint Capella isn't what he once was, but he is still one of the best offensive rebounding bigs in the league. He's still can get you some block shots. Again, he's not super elite or anything like that, but he can block some shots, true 7 footer. He can bang with the big fellas, kind of give you what you need. Also, he's $20 million, but is $20 million expiring? So you can kind of clear that off your books. Or if he does work out, like what if he's great for you and does give you some Mitchell Robinson insurance, and he could potentially be a backup, or you could start him and have Mitchell Robinson be your backup when he's healthy. You could give Clint Capella a new contract at like $10 million a year, right? And now you got like a cheap option there, right? Like, and you probably wouldn't have to sell the farm to go get Capella. It's just, how do you get to his money, right? That's the problem, because they don't want to give up the Villanova guys, right? They want to keep the Villanova Knicks, but they don't want to get rid of, it's hard to get to that. And that's the thing. Like, if you're willing to give up a Hart or a DiVincenzo or something, then yeah, it would be a little different, but you're not. So you're looking at like, a package around like McBride and stuff. And it's just like, is that, having Deuce out there, and, he's like a big fan favorite. So it's just, it's a tough spot for the Knicks to be in. But just in general, right, it's disappointing. This is a guy that it's just like, But he has so much promise. This guy could be such a dominant force if he could just stay on the basketball court and just stay healthy. It's just, but the problem is they can't, like, he can't get out of his own way sometimes, and look, injuries aren't really, you can't control them, and it sucks. We've seen so many great players or so many guys that have great potentials. And look, I'm not saying Mitchell Robinson's, a top 3 center in the league or anything like that when he's healthy, but he is a guy that can make a real impact. He's a guy that has real talent and would fill a huge need that this Knicks team could really use. So I do think that this hurts. This hurts, and they're gonna have to kind of navigate this and figure out, like, okay, which direction do we go now? But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you like the idea of going and making some type of trade, pulling something off in order to kind of solve that need, solve that issue with losing Mitchell Robinson? Do you think, no, just keep it as it is, stand pat, stay patient, it's all going to work out? Again, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.